What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. Seal, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's week 17. Football's over, and I don't have to worry about the Jaguars losing anymore, right?
And COVID's gone.
Yeah. Well,
No,
COVID will
but
be gone next month. No, I'm kidding.
no. Well, it's already not really a thing, at least not in Florida. But I don't know.
Nah, man, I'm doing. I'm going sports wise. I'm not doing too hot today. I had a day off, and all I did was just sit around and soak up the losing that keeps occurring in my life.
Yeah, well, if you guys did happen to look in yesterday and check YouTube and try to find the Just Off the Post podcast, there was a reason that there was not one. It was because I was watching the Dodgers game 7, and that was more important to me, and I can't do both. And since I don't get paid for this, I'm going to do the one that I want to do, and that was watch the Dodgers. So that's the reason I wasn't there. But we can start off talking a bit about the LAFC game since I didn't get to do that. It happened to be a good draw against Portland, which is not something that we even expected. Portland's a great team, and we still are without all of our people. So the fact that we got a 93rd minute goal to tie this thing up is pretty impressive. And again, I didn't get to watch it all, but just looking at the stats, I mean, it seems pretty impressive. And of course, Christian Torres got his first goal, which is super exciting. So at least our forwards continue to impress.
Yeah, I had it on I had it on my phone while I was watching the Doyers, and they also had the Khabib McGregor fight replaying on ESPN last night.
Nice.
So I threw that on one of the TVs at work as well. So that was just kind of in the background. I had it in my ear listening to it. But dude, we survived. That was definitely a surviving draw, getting that 93rd right off rip. I forget the little black dude's name on Portland, who's just literally everywhere. And Chara.
Yeah, Diego Chara.
Literally right off rip, they get the touch, almost score in the second minute. And it was just blast after blast after blast. And we definitely survived.
Yeah, I mean, they had 16 shots, which is crazy, but it looks like we did exactly what Bob wants us to do. We had 55% possession, 82% of the passes. We had 499 passes completed in this game, as opposed to 394 from Portland. So we did exactly what we try to do, and we did it without our talented people. So if we can bring in our talented people and do exactly what we're trying to do here, then I think it's going to continue to look better and better every game. And like most of the media says, by the time the playoffs are here, listen, we've already won the Supporters Shield. We've broken records. We've had the MVP. We've done everything. All that's left now is the MLS Cup. So when the playoffs come around, we're going to be a dangerous team, and nobody's going to want to play us.
For real. That is definitely true. And the young guys, the fill-ins, they really are stepping up. That 16-year-old came out and killed it again. Number 16, who isn't the 16-year-old who I thought was. I forget his name. He played pretty damn well. But, man, that defense, that center back, his name's Jose, right? The new one?
Jesus But yeah.
Oh, well, okay. He wasn't the one that was playing last night because
yeah, he was.
Was him?
Murillo. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I heard Jose. So
I mean, they might call him Jose. Who knows? It was his first game, but.
But yeah, he didn't look bad. It's definitely going to take some time, but anything, it has to be better than what we've had in the past. So, and Portland's a great team. Didn't they stomp? Was it 2-0?
What was 2-0?
With Orlando against Orlando, who stomped us to win the MLS's back cup, and Orlando's been doing really good since then. But yeah,
Orlando
really
officially clinched the playoffs yesterday.
Hey,
so props to them.
Yeah, but to get out of there with a draw and it not be 3-4, even at 93rd, 3-1, 4-1 is definitely a huge positive and a huge plus.
Right. Yeah, Portland has a huge chance to be the number one team. If they would have beat us, they would have jumped Seattle for number one. So that's pretty cool that we were able to stop that. And we are still sitting at 4th place right now. So that's good. We have less points per game than Minnesota, but we've played one more game. So hopefully we can stay in 4th place, but that's going to be a juggling act the rest of the year. But it looks like we're getting better and should make the playoffs. But there's a really tight window from 4 all the way to about 11th place, maybe even 12th place, which is last. So that's pretty scary.
What's the update on the Anthony K injury?
I have no clue. I saw him on a podcast and I didn't listen to it because I'm not really a huge K fan, but I'm sure like we don't really even need him back if our midfielders are doing their thing, because we have to figure out where to put everybody. And that's the issue we've always had, is everybody that we have is offensively minded and we don't have the defensive minded people. But I don't know what we're going to do. If we don't get rid of anyone, then Atuesta is definitely starting in mid. And then you have Blessing, K, Janela, Cifuentes, and then somebody's got to either not sit or move back to midfield out of Vela, Rossi, Wright, Phillips, and Rodriguez. So something there is going to have to give, and K could potentially be the guy that's going to have to give. I mean, obviously if I were coaching, that's who it would be, but I don't know what Bob will do.
Yeah, and that's definitely not a bad problem to have going on. So,
yeah. We'll probably just, if Blackman's not back, we'll still start Blessing at right back for some reason, and then we'll be able to play everybody at midfield. But yeah, again, it's a good problem to have, and I think we're working the right way. Yeah, we do. Or we need that lone kid to do something. We loaned out a right back. I don't know if he was there or not yesterday, but we loaned out. So whatever we need them to do well. I don't see that kid. Oh yeah, Mark Segbers, but he didn't play. So one of those two, either Blackman needs to come back, which I don't know the state on his injury either, or that Segbers guy needs to come in and be able to be a right back. So, and I'm fine with Blessing coming off the bench, but I don't think LAFC fans are, at least not the local ones. And Bob might be lucky that we don't have fans in the stands if he decides to start Blessing on the bench, because he's the fan favorite and everybody loves him. But I think he would be better served on the bench, because then he could come in at whichever spot's being the weakest and change it. Or if we need strategy change or anything, he's the guy that could do that. So
yeah, that's definitely the smart move. And was it last year or the year before? Last year he was coming off the bench a lot and doing great. Had quite a few goals right off the bench in multiple games. So
right,
I would get right back to that. But you have to have defensive. I mean, he never stays back, so I don't know why he always gets put back there. But he has to have confidence in his defensive backs for the first 50, 60 minutes to even want to think about doing that. And that's not the case, especially with all the injuries and international duties going on right now.
Those should be done, though. We play the Galaxy next Sunday, I guess, the 25th. That's Sunday, right? Saturday or Sunday, whatever this weekend is. And we're supposed to have our international guys back. And Vela is hoping to come back as well, but we don't know if we're going to bring him back. But when we play the Galaxy, but that would be great to just have all 5 of those guys, the 4 international dudes and Vela, all come back against the Galaxy and put it together. But I feel like the first game they come back might not be the best game either. So we'll see.
Yeah, Saturday is a huge day, man. Huge day.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We got I don't know what the Gators are going to end up doing when the new ball coach, that's his new nickname. He's not the old ball coach. He's the new ball coach with the visor going on. But, oh, yeah, that's right. No, they postponed the LSU game.
Yeah, they postponed it. And the way Saban was just able to jump right back into coaching is so.
If I was Georgia, I would be so pissed. Yeah. And so that was already been postponed. But, yeah, that's why it was so big for. But LSU, it was going to be LSU, the Gators. Then you got LAFC, LA, and then Khabib and Gaethje, however you say his name. I am so excited for Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be good, and now even if it's just the El Trafico and then Khabib, that's just as good, because we don't really want to talk too much about UCF, but we might end up having a new old quarterback here coming up shortly, and obviously our UCF fans are pretty upset. We've now lost our second straight game. My mirrored image makes me lean the wrong way.
Yeah, you don't know which one you're trying to fix.
So anyways, so you UCF is struggling, and that's a big deal. But what it could mean is that Mackenzie Milton could get back on the field this year. We were thinking maybe he's just going to wait it out. Gabriel's going to go undefeated, do his thing, and then maybe we can put him in a blowout or something. But now that we've lost 2 games, we're pretty much out of this thing. Milton could really come in and do something. So that's a little bit of a silver lining that
Yeah,
could
for
possibly
sure.
happen.
And it's not really too much of a surprise. You hit it on the head when you were talking about expect 3 losses.
Yeah.
And it's just because we didn't really have too much on both sides, which we have in the past. And we're winning games when UCF won the national championship. Right. They were winning 50-30, 45-30. So to expect to be able to put up 40 points and not give up 41 points is
like
really
50
hard.
to 49 is what the game was.
Yeah. So yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. So you gotta think if Gabriel is a hell of a quarterback, but not smart whatsoever, really. And if you can get McKenzie in there and they're already putting up 40, 50 points, he could go in and elevate it. And hopefully just him being on the field will light a fire up the defense ass and they'll finally show up. Them and the Gators, they did something together in this offseason and just completely disappeared.
Well,
we're going to see them on a Netflix special.
Part of that is the Heupel offense. You can't just continue to go faster and faster and faster and faster and expect the defense to always be able to keep up. But also when they let in like a 50-yard run on the first drive, that's not them being tired either. So there's a little bit of both, a little push and pull there. But if your offense is the weapon, and it is the weapon, Gabriel has been talked about in the Heisman, but now that if we don't make the playoffs, which is not going to happen, there's no way he would win the Heisman. But with that offense, why don't you just sometimes take the air out of the ball, man? And I know that speed is the strategy. Speed is what makes us score. But we're not just trying to score now. We don't just want style points. We want to win. And if you can leave the offense on the field, I think that might be you can still run your hurry up and just take a few more seconds off. You might even get a few offsides because the teams are expecting us to go so quickly.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we have the running backs to be able to just kind of go in and beat them up.
Yeah.
Well, I forget. McCray?
McCray is, and then, Otis Anderson and McCray.
Otis
but
McCray
is the guy that can.
And Otis isn't, he's bigger than AK, but he's still a small guy.
He's a little guy.
he's
McCray's short, but he's a little stockier. And then there's that Bentavious Thompson or something is his name. He's the power back.
That's a big boy. Yeah, that's a real big boy right there. But you have the running backs that you can get it done with. And even if you do want to air it out, you can at least take 4 or 5 minutes off of the clock on your possessions instead of trying to score in a minute 10.
Right. Well, speaking of college football, because our teams aren't going to be playing on Saturday, well, UCF will be doing what UCF does, but they're already out of it. So for the Power 5 people, and sorry, UCF fans, that's just the way it is. For the people that actually matter, our teams aren't going to be playing. And one city that wishes their teams probably, or one state, I guess, that wishes their teams probably were not playing is Georgia. And there was just a huge hurt this past week by them. Georgia Tech got beat 73-7 by Clemson. And it's funny because that's not even like a rivalry game. What were Clemson doing running up the score there? Why does it matter to them to just crush Georgia Tech?
I just don't think they could not get in the end zone. Do you want them to kneel the ball every down?
No, that's how my dad broke his ankle.
Even if they're running the ball every single down, it's going to be hard for those guys not to, yes, they're in the same division that's D1 football. Yes, they're in the same conference in the ACC, but let's be real.
Yeah, Georgia Tech in the same class.
Nowhere near Clemson. They're about 100 miles away from each other and 2 worlds apart.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's funny because that is the way my dad broke his ankle and had to end his football career. He was the running back in 11th grade, and they were running this one play, and he kept scoring. And coach was like, "We're gonna go until Kilpatrick doesn't score." and he busted by the defense again. And he was like, well, F this, man. I want some water. I want to go home too. So he slowed up, and a guy tackled him from behind and shattered his ankle to pieces, and he couldn't play football anymore.
Damn.
So yeah, you can't let up. You got to just keep trying to score. Because that is when injuries happen, is when you try to take it easy because you're not prepared. So
yeah, that's crazy, man.
But then another Georgia team, the actual Georgia that's not in Atlanta, and that's why I was going to say Atlanta for the city, but Georgia is not actually in Atlanta. But they came out and they looked great in the first half against Alabama, which is not super surprising. That's Alabama football in a nutshell. They usually are just ahead because they play nobodies, but when they're playing a good team, they're oftentimes behind at halftime. Yeah. And they came out in the second half and did exactly what they always do to everyone. And I think they outscored them, 28 to nothing in the second half or something like that, and ended up winning big, going away. And like you said, Georgia's got to be upset that Nick Saban was able to jump right back in, and he did go through the protocol, whatever, 3 negative tests, blah, blah, blah. But his adjustments at halftime really just continued to knock it home. And so Georgia, the University of Georgia, lost as well. Luckily for them, their playoff hopes are not out of the realm of possibility still. Losing to Alabama is always the best thing you can do.
But as a fan, dude, you have a 5'3" quarterback who was like the 4th string quarterback before the season. Like, you can't feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't watch Georgia football. But right. I mean, they obviously had to be doing something to have been ranked 3, but we were ranked 4 before we got emasculated by Texas A&M. Ooh. But yeah, it's just he looked horrible, absolutely awful. Didn't look like he should have been even the 4th string quarterback at the start of the season. But I guess they had somebody opt out, and then now something happened. Somebody didn't look good in the start, so he came out and he's been on fire. But yeah, it was 24-20 at half, and then they ended up winning 41-24.
Yeah,
and that's what Nick Saban does. And you had to expect he would probably have been on a Zoom call with somebody telling them what play to do every single time, and that something like that would have happened.
Well, it's pretty easy to be an Alabama head coach on the actual Saturday. I'm not going to discount what Nick Saban does, but they just run the ball behind a 1,500-pound offensive line, all combined, and by the fourth quarter, it starts working, and it's pretty simple as far as that's concerned. So play calling probably isn't the issue. It's getting them ready in the first place, which Saban was obviously able to do. So,
yeah. And he was doing that stuff through Zoom. It's just, I don't understand this whole stuff. Like, even though he had a positive test, it didn't come out saying it was a false positive. So he had it, but he had 3 negatives
3 times in a row. So maybe it was a false positive. Who knows? I don't know,
but even is it he can still be contagious or something?
I don't know all the and nobody knows. Nobody knows what's actually.
Here we are, like 8 months later.
Yeah, and we're not going to get political in the sense of that part, but still nobody knows what it is or how it goes. And now all these people that are high risk, older people, fat people, like all these unhealthy seeming people. And not that Nick Saban's unhealthy, but he doesn't exercise that we know of to the level of the athletes. And he's also 70 something or whatever he is. So it's kind of weird that they can just kick it like that. So now nobody really understands what's going on with COVID, but we're just going to keep playing by the rules. And if you, at least athletically, they've shown that if you are an elite athlete, you can do your thing. There's actually in the UK, I was watching the Arsenal game this past weekend where we lost to Manchester City, which kind of sucks, but that's expected. We had a guy, we just traded for some dude from like some Spanish league or Spanish team. And he was able to play right away with no quarantine period whatsoever because UK deemed him an elite athlete. And that allows him to just, because I guess he can get over it. But I was like, it's about spreading, right? Like, who cares if he could get over it? That's not what we're worried about here. But yeah, because he was an elite athlete classification, he was able to just play right away.
That's so stupid.
So nobody really knows. Nobody knows what's going on. But then the third Georgia team, and it's not the Falcons, guys. The Falcons won. They did not blow a lead. But who did blow a lead is the Atlanta Braves. They were up 3-1 on the Dodgers, and they were up in every single game except for the one that they lost 15-2. But they were up, and they were up 3-1 in game 7, and then like just got clawed back, and it was 3-3 until the bottom of the 7th when Belly finally woke up. I don't know what his deal is. He's been slumping pretty much all year, but he slumps all playoffs. I think he's 129 career playoff hitter.
And that home run is good in like every ballpark in America.
Yeah. And that's what they call a no doubt about or whatever. I mean, he knew as soon as the bat touched the ball. Like, I thought he wasn't even going to try to run around the bases. He just set the bat down and just kind of stood there. But hey, it's a game-winning home run. It's what you do. And
I love how they'd set this up in two of the biggest ballparks out there. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of hell of a catches going on.
Yeah, well,
out
now
there
it's coming down to the fact that we're going to play the only team, in my opinion, with a better full pitching staff than we have. Mm-hmm. And that's the Rays. The Rays have 3 legitimate aces with Glasnow, Snell, and Morton. And that's going to be difficult. But luckily for us is just like the Brewers, which we have now faced, I think, 3 postseasons in a row. So we're used to this style of managing. These pitchers they could be pitching a perfect game and they're coming out after 5 innings. And so that's something that we've seen. And like I said, Craig Counsell does it with the Brewers. They trust their bullpen so much that they're gonna pull a hot guy because that's the strategy. They want Glasnow, whoever, I think he's going to be their game 1 guy, to go in game 1, in game 4, and in game 7 because they just want to use their 3 guys. So they're going to pull him early and now it says my internet connection is unstable. And so we're going to see what that can do for us. But yeah, this is a pitcher's park and it's going to be the best pitching team we've seen.
Is it Texas? You'll be in Texas?
Yeah, we're going to be in the same park we've been the whole time. Yeah, in Arlington.
All right, cool. That's awesome. So you'll be able to have fans in there still. That'll be really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to see if Kershaw is gonna wake up. He did a lot better. Was it game 5?
Yeah.
Or no? Was it
well,
game 5?
Yeah. I mean, he pitched well, especially with saying he had a hurt back, but he's got like a 5.4 ERA in the World Series. So he can't be doing that. That's going to be a problem.
Not at all, but and then homie, I don't know his name, little mustachio, because he looks like a pistachio with a mustache. He has glasses. I think he pitched game 3.
Urias?
Maybe.
The lefty?
Maybe. Yeah.
The Mexican guy? Yeah.
Yeah, mustachio. But yeah, I liked what I was seeing out of him.
Yeah, he's a baller.
And the thing is, I feel like whoever these games are going to be equivalent to yesterday, game 7 with you guys. It's going to be those 3-2, 3-1 wins, I feel like. And for them to be able to keep the asterisks to such low runs, that's got to be a little worrisome, especially with the bats not waking up at all for you guys too much in that series, besides that one game where you kind of did blow your load for the whole series.
Hey, I mean, we looked a lot better in the 3 wins. And even with them being low, I think one was a bigger scoring game, but we were able to piece hits together, which is really nice. And we're not hitting the home runs like we were in the regular season, but a lot of that has to do with that Texas ballpark. So if we can get base hits, if we can get singles and then just crank a home run when a guy makes a mistake pitch, I think we had 1 home run against the Padres all series. So we definitely upped that against the Braves. And so now we're at least getting used to the park. We're getting used to what we have to do. And Corey Seager is on fire. He had 5 home runs in the NLCS. He won the MVP of the NLCS. So if they do make a mistake on their pitch, we look like we're at least ready to do something with it.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like you guys have an advantage staying in that ballpark this whole time?
Yeah, and I think so. I mean, obviously it's not home field, but home field advantage, even in baseball, is is a real advantage. It's a real thing. So to be able to have been playing there for like a month now. So I think it will help. Our outfielders will know the outfield, but the outfield is just a huge, basically a parking lot, so it's not like there's any intricacies that anyone needs to know about. It's just that you got to make sure you get a good jump on that play where the shoestring catch by Mookie. If he would have had a 1/10 of a second less jump, he's not going to get to it. So this park is definitely bigger than a lot of other ones. So you got to be on your game. And I think that will be an advantage, at least the first game or two for our guys.
Nice.
And I think we are the home team. So we'll get to bat last the first couple games, which is nice.
And the thing for this series too, you guys are trying to bring it home for your city. LA, they just got it with the Bums.
Yeah.
And Tampa with the Lightning about a month ago now. So they're trying to bring it back and keep the rings going. Who you got? Do you think the Dodgers are going to pull it off? I got the Doyers in 6.
The Dodgers have to pull it off. I can't imagine a world where the Dodgers just continue to not get it done. I can't imagine that world. And I don't think the Dodgers can imagine it. And this year, I saw from them something that I haven't seen in the last 4 years. They didn't give up. Against the Nationals, they kind of just lost it last year. Against your Red Sox after game 2, they were like, yeah, screw this. We're pretty much done. So they fight. And I'll make my prediction before you say whatever it is you were saying. I'm going to go with, I think it's going to be 7. I'm going to go with the Dodgers in 7. And somebody's got to, hopefully Mookie, but somebody's going to do something big.
See, the difference for me in this is something I haven't seen is emotion out of Dave. The game last night, he looked like he was about to pop a zit or like something was going to explode off of his face at every pitch, at every at bat. He was just on the ump's ass, and I never really see that. He seems kind of like a robot to me at times.
Yeah. And he's also proving now that he understands how to manage a baseball team, which is kind of cool. I actually texted my buddy Jake, who is also an LA fan, and I said, dude, this is lining up perfectly to be up 1 run in the bottom of the 9th, or top of the 9th, I guess. Put Jansen out there. He's going to get 2 base runners. Kershaw is going to come out because Kershaw has to pitch for some reason, and he's going to let in a home run. But no, Dave played with the momentum. He saw that Urias was doing well. He kept him out there. He knows he can go 3 innings. He started an earlier game. He knows how to pitch. So that was really good to see that he's not, and kind of his fault, kind of not his fault, but he bought too much into the Hollywood LA hype, and he wanted Kershaw to be the guy as well. In those first couple of years when he was putting Kershaw in these no-win situations, I think he was ready to be the manager that allowed Kershaw to change his story, blah, 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 blah. But now he's more like, oh, listen, we just want to win. We just want to win this ring. Who cares how it gets done? So that's what I like to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a much different feel than what is this? This is number 3, right? 3 and 4?
3 and 4 years, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a way different feel. I think the best lineup from 1 to 9 that you've had coming
Absolutely.
out. I mean, Max Muncy is in a ice bath, just chilling right now. But he's gonna wake up.
He takes a lot of walks, which is amazing. So even when he's being terrible, he takes walks, which is nice.
He has been hacking. The hacks look good, but
he can't find the ball.
No, but it'll wake up. Mook started waking up last night, so
Bellinger,
it'll
like I said, hit that home run.
It could happen.
Beager and Turner are both ready to go. So, and they're back
I love
to back.
JT's bat.
They're doing
love
their
his
thing.
batting stance.
So,
if you're a parent and you want your kid to play baseball and you set up some batting cage in your backyard and you're trying to teach them how to hit, show them JT and say that. Do not move until that mother is about to pitch the ball. And I can't stand that shit. Even Mookie has one of the cleanest swings in the game.
He does that thing, which is stupid.
And then
I don't understand it.
I don't understand half of it. But JT just sits there, waits, and then just brings that big old 8-foot leg up and
That's what's so crazy is JT will step every single pitch because he's not stepping to swing. He's stepping to like time the pitch.
Yeah.
And so if it's a changeup, you'll see his leg be up a little longer, and then like he'll step. A fastball, he steps quickly, and it's so weird, but it's counterintuitive to the way I learned how to hit. But I sucked at hitting, so
same. But I love it.
All right, well, let's go ahead and take a break to talk about our sponsor, Manscaped. They're here to. My cat is going nuts behind me. They're here to partner with us and help you clean up your downstairs and make it all fresh and clean and nice. And your balls will thank you if you use Manscaped. That's for sure.
Absolutely. They are the leading brand in men's undergarment stuff. So I don't know what the kitty's doing here. This is nothing for the kitty.
He wants to get shaved, I guess.
Well, if you want to shave the kitty, you can, because I promise you the kitty will not get cut with the
exactly. Manscaped can work for the kitty if you need it to.
It sure can. If it will not clip my old saggy balls, then I promise you the kitty is safe with the Lawnmower 3.0. It's amazing. The battery lasts hella long. I haven't had to charge mine yet since I had to charge it one time after about 3 months of having it.
I've only charged it on the podcast in Vegas. That's the only time I've had to charge it.
Yeah, that thing is absolutely amazing. It comes with a couple of like length guard kind of things.
Yeah, I don't use the guards. Yeah.
No. Especially since I did the ball thing. I can't put it right on my balls. I'm still too scared, even though I know it won't do it. But they have the guards if you are scared of getting clipped. They have those. It's absolutely amazing. It's literally the best thing I've ever put down there. I hated shaving and I hated having to use my little face trimmers down there because I would always cut and hack and it looked like a crime scene.
Yeah, and even if you do shave, you still smell. It happens, but they will provide you with the crop preserver, the crop reviver. We talk about all this stuff all the time. Ball wipes, all that mess. It's all good. It's all we talk about it every week. If you haven't listened to this point, if it's your first time, then sorry you're getting the half-ass read, but it's great, and it's pH balance. It's all this, and we do use it. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that we're talking about something we don't know or we don't use. I know Seal brought it with him to Vegas. I don't watch him use his stuff, but I know that I use it. He says he uses it. Even if we weren't sponsored, man, I would still try to use this stuff.
I definitely do. I actually put on the cologne last Friday before I went to bar back, and I had somebody, you smell pretty good. I was like, thanks. What is that? I was like, that's Manscaped. They're like, Manscaped? I was like, yeah, it's Manscaped, bro. Because it's not, like you said, it's not like a sweet fragrance. It literally smells like all their products, which it smells fresh. It smells clean. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was going for. I'm getting, if I axed it up. And I'm starting to get sick of putting the axe on all the time. So I just threw a couple of sprays of that on, and somebody smelled it and noticed it and said they liked it.
Yeah, I use it every time I go out. I use that cologne. I use the body wash, and it all smells the same. But it's good. And like you said, it's not a deodorant kind of smell. Like it's not supposed to really smell like anything. It just smells like you're fresh, you're clean. You get rid of all that musk. So head over to manscaped.com. Use our code NOSCRUBS, all one word, and you'll get 20% off and free shipping on anything you buy. And it's awesome. Seriously, just do it. Even if you don't buy that perfect package 3.0 and you want to start with just like the cologne or the body wash or even the ball cream, it probably works on hairy balls too. I don't know, but
it does.
Oh, see, there you go. So head over to manscaped.com, use our code. You'll get 20% off and free shipping, and your partner, your public, the general public, and your balls will thank you. Promise.
Yeah, your girlfriend will too, because she is starting to do the subtle hints about it again.
She's like, have you heard from Manscaped yet? Have you you ran out of stuff? No. So now let's talk about football. I just had the Dodgers win a Game 7 to make it to the World Series, and yet I'm still wearing Tampa Bay Buccaneers stuff. Why is that? Well, they just dethroned an undefeated. They had Aaron Rodgers having the career year. He's obviously pissed that they drafted Jordan Love, blah, 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 blah. And all that GOAT did, Tom Brady, was nothing. He let the defense go out there and win him a game, and that's what I've been hoping for. That's the way Peyton Manning got his last ring. The defense showed up. Brady could not do anything to start out. This was the first time I think that we've been shut out in the first quarter all year. It didn't look good. Aaron Rodgers was up 10-0, doing his thing, and then he threw a pick six in the second quarter, and everything changed. I think we dropped 28 points in the second quarter, so we were up like 28-10 at halftime, and we just rolled to victory. And Brady really didn't have to do anything because Ronald Jones was running all over the place. Our defense was stepping up, even without Vita Vea, who's going to be out. So it was nice to see that JPP and Ndamukong Suh could get out there and do their work. And our defensive backs were just shutting them down. It's crazy. Antoine Winfield Jr. is finally coming into his own and looking like his dad. It's exciting, man. This was a game we needed after losing to the stupid Bears a week ago.
Question.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is Blaine Gabbert playing in the game
tonight?
He went 0 for 1 and had 3
in our game
3 rushes for 2 yards. Yeah, he's your backup quarterback.
Yeah, because it was like 38-10. That's why he's playing.
That's stupid. Could have cost you the game. Ask
Aaron Rodgers why Blaine Gabbert was playing.
I don't know, but what's going on with Fournette? Is he hurt, or is just Ronald Jones
is that good?
Really killing it?
Yeah, he's that dude. And it's funny because when we signed Fournette, Bruce Arians, who is very open and he always says exactly what's on his mind, he said, "Hey, we didn't sign Fournette to be the starter. Ronald Jones is good, and I believe in him." And now you're starting to see that Ronald Jones is capable of getting 3-4 yards every single time he touches the ball, which is nice.
He's a baller for real. I liked it.
Yeah, so that really made me happy. 38-10, we killed it, and like I said, it was a game we needed because the Bears, who are apparently really good now, they're leading the NFC North, which is nuts, but they beat us in a stupid way that we shouldn't have lost. We talked about it on the podcast. We don't need to talk about it again, but we needed to bounce back and have this, and to see the fact that we had no penalties assessed against us the entire game, unless right at the end, but. I know when I kind of stopped paying attention at that point, we had no penalties called against us. And to come after that Bears game when we were getting stupid penalties, we were letting Brady get sacked all the time. Clearly, he came off and said something to these kids after the game, and they stepped up and answered the call. So that's huge. It's huge to see that they're buying into what Brady's selling, because it's not all coaching, man. We know why Brady came in here. We know that he believes in something with this team, and he's going to work to right the wrong. So it's really exciting to see. Godwin came back and did his thing. So, yeah,
I mean, you guys look really good. There's not too much to worry about in the NFC this year. I mean,
so the Seahawks.
It seems like the Seahawks and the Packers, and you guys just did that to Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, worst case scenario, y'all see Aaron Rodgers divisional round, and you guys have to face them. They don't get knocked out by somebody else first, because that's going to be a really hard second time to go around beating him.
Yeah, but if we can get the home field, that'll be nice, because we know that, I mean, yes, Brady, it was in Foxborough, but I think it'd be much nicer to be in 75-degree weather than 35-degree weather. So especially when it's not your own home field. So we'd love to have our home field advantage for the playoffs. Seattle's not that bad. It doesn't get crazy cold there. It's more of a coastal city, so it doesn't get Lambeau snow. But
it's a weird time. Philly almost beat the Ravens.
Yeah, I really thought they had it too, man. I thought the Eagles had it. That was
same.
It was so
crazy. That was crazy.
The Chiefs didn't dominate the Bills the way I thought they might, and I know the Bills were looking really good, but I thought they were just going to get toasted today, and that wasn't really the case. I mean, it was a pretty close game.
Yeah, the Texans almost beat the Titans. The Bengals almost beat the Colts. That was crazy. I was watching.
Yeah, the Bengals should have beat the Colts, and Phillip Rivers, I don't even want to say turn back the clock, because I'm not sure he's ever done that before. He led a nice comeback without having LaDainian Tomlinson on his team, or Antonio Gates, so he had to actually do it some of it himself, which was really crazy. And the Browns, who were this starting to get the hype again, right? They were 4-1. Everybody's hyping them up. They're exactly who everyone thought the Browns were all the time. The Steelers ran all over them, just beat the mess out of them. So
How about the other landslide? I mean, besides this one going on right now, how about the old Dolphins?
I picked them in my eliminator pool.
Trying to drive Adam Gase the hell out of another city.
So sorry, Marco, but your team is bad. And I think at this point, Marco is a Jets fan. He's one of our friends. And I think at this point they're trying to lose. They want Trevor Lawrence. That's clear. What happened with the Sam Darnold project, man? They were so high on Sam Darnold, and now it's a tank for Trevor.
I think Sam Darnold's going to be able to go somewhere else and produce. He just kind of got the short end of the stick there with the hiring of Adam Gase and just having him totally fuck up a whole organization.
So, well, let's talk real quick about the AFC East, because it doesn't look like the Patriots are that team anymore. The Patriots lost again. Now it's the Bills and then the Dolphins up there. And the Dolphins actually are the only team in that division with a plus score differential. They are plus 47. Everyone else in that division is minus. Do you think the Dolphins could find a way to win the AFC East?
Actually, I want to say they have no shot, but they have Fitzmagic, so anything's possible with that guy there.
Yeah, what do you think, Tua? Do you think Tua's happy or sad that Fitzmagic is doing his thing?
I think he's happy. I think he's absolutely happy. I don't think he should be in any rush to get in and start. I think he knows that team isn't where it needs to be to even win a playoff game, let alone win that division and go on and play a playoff game. But also, Fitzmagic is on the move a lot,
right?
And Tua just broke his hip, so I don't think that's the smartest thing you want to do. Maybe wait this year, and hopefully they'll develop in the draft and free agency and kind of thicken that line up a little bit and get him a little more help and support. But if that's me, I'm fine coming in and doing a series at the end of a 24-0 blowout and throwing the ball.
And he almost scored on that series. I mean, he was looking good for his one series.
Yeah.
So.
And he seems happy. He came out after the game. He was still in full gear and just sat down on
He said he was FaceTiming his mom, and he wanted to go down on the field where he said he tried to find the spot where his drive ended so that he could sit and FaceTime his mom. So that's super cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's happy. Why wouldn't you be? You're learning from a Harvard man. Brian Flores is a hell of a coach. So his future looks great. He just needs to be patient and wait it out and keep learning. There's nothing you won't be able to learn. There's no time in the NFL where you're not learning. Tom Brady can attest to that. Aaron Rodgers will attest to that. Two of the best quarterbacks of all time, and every single week they're learning. They don't just sit at home 5 days a week because they've played this other team about 17 times in their career. They've played this defensive coordinator, and they know what this person's going to do. It's all about learning. It's all about getting better, and he's literally learning from the best. I think the only other place he would probably want to be is in Jordan Love's shoes, but who really wants to be Aaron Rodgers' backup?
Yeah. Nobody wants to be a few years out. You just want to learn from somebody that's good. And like you said, Fitzpatrick is going to get traded to somebody else that needs to just win when they're not supposed to be winning for a couple of years. So he'll end up going to the Giants or something, and they'll go 8-8 for the next 3-4 years, or Washington football team. And all he does is ruin draft picks. That's all Fitzpatrick does. But he saves the backup quarterback by ruining draft picks. So
for sure. And also this whole tank for Trevor thing in New York, somebody that's really going to get left behind in this once Sam Darnold does get put on that whole rotating wheel of quarterbacks we're going to have going on this offseason again is Josh Rosen.
Where is he right now?
I don't think he's on a team.
Okay.
And I don't think he's going to be, because after this year, if you're looking for somebody else who's going to be a hell of a backup and a kid that maybe one day can become your franchise quarterback, let's see, the Panthers want to extend Teddy B, or the Drew Brees retires and they have Jameis and they love Taysom, so they just let him go somewhere else, or they want to get another quarterback in. any team in the NFL is going to go to Sam Darnold all day long before they go to Josh Rosen.
Oh yeah,
All day
absolutely.
long. So he can't be too happy that they're going to end up with a number 1 or number 2 pick and end up with either Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields
Right.
or even Trey Lance from North Dakota State is a better fit for anywhere than Josh Rosen. And I think Sam Darnold, once he does get that shot, he's going to be able to put it together. I mean, what is this, year 6 of him playing football?
I think so, yeah.
So,
and he hasn't looked terrible. He's just, like you said, has been in terrible situations since the day he came into football.
His best receiver he's had on his team was Robbie Anderson, who got the fuck out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And then his running back left, his defensive back,
Hey!
his best defensive back ever left.
Shout out to LaMichael Pirine, though.
Is he their guy now?
Yeah, he was in there playing.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
Well, one other team that might need a quarterback that we did not think originally might need a quarterback is the Minnesota Vikings. What the hell is happening with Kirk Cousins, man? And who's
I don't know.
backup?
And that whole team is literally imploding. 2 years ago, they had one of the best defenses that we've seen in a long time, and now they have probably the worst defense that you could pick up in fantasy football. It's just from top to bottom, absolutely horrible. Dalvin Cook, he's injured. But even when he wasn't injured, he was the only bright spot on that team at times.
Well, Adam Thielen isn't doing anything, and that could be because Kirk Cousins is not doing anything. But Sean Mannion is their backup. So, hey, maybe they're a suitor for the Jameis Winston sweepstakes or something like that. Well, they are 1-5. I mean, I guess they could just tank the rest of the way too, but they got no chance. Like Kirk Cousins is their $50 million man. Or even more than that. I don't know.
No, it was a lot. It was a lot because I think he got more than Foles, which was 3 years, $80 million.
So yeah, they were banking on him. So now it's kind of scary to see what they're gonna do about that.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to think he was when they got him. If they had Kirk now, he's a good fit. Yeah, he might throw an interception or 3 a game, but he's going to get you 3-4 touchdowns a game. So if you have that great defense that they had, then who knows? Maybe they can win. But the defense they have right now, and Dalvin Cook hurt, and shout out to Justin Jefferson, rookie out of LSU, doing big things.
Yeah, man.
For them since Adam Thielen's not. But I don't know. He's not it. You're right. That whole team needs a new breakdown, which stinks because they looked like they were going to be up for a chance at a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and now nobody really. I mean, I guess the Packers. I don't believe in the Bears, so
no,
I don't.
I don't think the Bears believe in the Bears. I think the fans still want to get rid of Matt Nagy.
Yeah, probably. So, all right. What else with football? Do you have anything else with football? I think I'm footballed out.
This is the first time the AFC is literally wide open in a very, very long time. Last year, you just knew it was going to be the Ravens or the Chiefs. And every year before that, you just knew the Patriots were going to end up sneaking it somehow. And if not, then another team just got lucky to be able to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl before they lost it to the Seattle or whoever would come up.
Right. Yeah, no, it's wide open. And I think nobody's happier about that than the Ravens, because I still think the Ravens can do what they have to do and get these wins. And if nobody looks like the Chiefs or nobody looks like the team that's going to run roughshod over everybody, maybe the Ravens can sneak in and
the Chiefs don't even look like the Chiefs. Is it weird to you just to see all these dink and dunks? I mean, the Cardinals look more like the Chiefs than the Chiefs look.
Right. Yeah, Tyreek is just not even getting targeted. Kelsey's not really doing much.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
Kelsey's looking rough this year.
Yeah. So let's move on and let's talk about Khabib and Gaethje. First, let's shout out Jessica Andrade and T-City Brian Ortega from right out here. T-City literally is about 5 minutes up the road from me. His training gym is about 12 to 15 minutes away from me. So it's pretty cool that he's doing great things again, because after he lost his title, it looked like he was on a downward spiral. So to come back and be the main event against the Korean Zombie and get a decision win is pretty big. Maybe he's back on his way. We'll get to watch him do his thing again. But this fight was free for a reason, right? It's because the next one is not free. The next one is pay-per-view. The next one is the Big Daddy. It's Khabib Nurmagomedov against Justin Gaethje. And obviously, these main cards in Abu Dhabi have a lot of great fights on them. But this isn't one of those, hey, there's 4 title fights. There's this, there's that. There is the Jared Cannonier versus Robert Whittaker. The winner will probably fight for the title of middleweight next year or next fight. But other than that, this card is extremely kind of low key compared to the Abu Dhabi ones because it's Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Justin Gaethje. Now, this is officially a undisputed title fight because they both have titles. Khabib, of course, has the title the correct way by winning. And then when he decided to beat up Conor's posse there, he had to give up his title. And Justin Gaethje now has that one. So
you don't want it.
He wants it. You don't want to try to fight for it, I don't think.
One. That ain't the real
so
one.
Khabib, do you think Khabib smash goes one more day at least, or one more fight?
Yeah,
Khabib smash.
Khabib's gonna beat his ass for sure.
You think so? Now Gaethje
right.
In theory, in styles and all that, he can match up to what Khabib does.
He can match up great, but I think in that aspect, Khabib knows he's not going to toy around. He's not going to try to let him go 3 rounds before he gives him that choke. He's going to go in and he's going to try to take advantage. Because one, if Justin gets him on that chin, it's going to be night. And if Justin gets him down, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder for him to get out of Justin's little whatever I'm trying to say, clinches. And he's right there with him when it comes to wrestling. Like maybe a smudge under. I mean, Khabib's one of the best.
Well, he's a lot under as far as that's concerned,
seen.
but he doesn't normally win on the ground, but he doesn't lose on the ground either.
Yeah.
He goes down. He can hold his own. He can either get back up or fight to the finish of the ring or the bell. But he wants to be on his feet. Obviously, he wants to punch you. But that's the thing with the Conor fight with Khabib. Conor wants to fight, wants to punch, wants to throw hands with you, but as soon as it got to the ground, it was like, all right, well, Khabib's going to roll him now. That might not be the case with Gaethje, but we haven't seen a guy that can do on the ground the things that Khabib does. And I know that there's other champions. Kamaru Usman is the same way, and people would say, well, he's just like that, but it's a different beast what Khabib does to these people on the ground.
Yeah, this definitely has the feel of like a UCF 60s or 100s type. Like we got all these filler matches, but we got the sledgehammer coming in, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see Bruce Buffer's intros for this one.
Well, the thing is, if you want action, a lot of people watch these UFCs for action, not for even the fight I was just talking about with Ortega and Korean Zombie. That went to the decision. That went the full 25 minutes. Casual fans don't like to see that. People don't like to pay pay-per-views for that. This isn't going to be one of those. It probably won't even get to the championship rounds. I'm not even sure how many third rounds Gaethje has seen. He's not going to see the 5th round. Whether he wins or loses, he's not going to see and I don't know if Khabib's ever made it to the 5th round either. So it's something else. And they both want to finish each other in different ways. And obviously Khabib's never lost, so we've never seen him get knocked out or anything like that. But every time he's fought a guy that can knock him out, he doesn't get touched. He just gets to the ground and does his thing. So,
and I feel like he has more to prove in this fight than he has in any other fight, even more so than the Conor McGregor fight, where he had to show everybody that he was the guy. He has to show that he's still the guy after being gone for so long, and all the bullshit that he did and all the stuff that happened out of the octagon. He's got to show the whole world that he's still in it to win it. And a couple months ago, it really was a COVID issue and not him just not wanting to be in the octagon, that he's really down to kill people.
To speak to that, this is the first fight without his dad in his corner. And it's bad enough. It's hard enough on you when your dad passes away. His dad was his coach. His dad was the guy that brought him up from the ground up. He coached all those other guys that you see, all those other Magomeds that are in the UFC now. They were all coached by Khabib's dad. And so it's not just losing a dad, which is bad enough. it's also losing the guy that taught you everything you know, losing your coach, losing the guy that's in your corner whispering little things, little motivations, little things that he sees that you can do in between rounds. He's not going to have that. Now, Khabib seems to be that mentally strong, really tough guy that can fight through that, but that is a different beast, and it's going to be his preparation, at least coming up to that fight, is going to be different. I think once the bell
That's
rings,
crazy.
Khabib's going to be Khabib, but the training camp, everything up to it is very different. We'll have to see how that can affect him.
Yeah, that's definitely, that's crazy. I mean, just whenever I watch sports, knowing that dad was alive whenever they were going on, that hurts me and gets to me. One of the reasons I haven't been to the swamp, I just know that's going to be hard. And man, that's gonna be absolutely insane, and that'll add a little bit more intensity, I think, to him, a little bit more weight on his, not on his shoulders, but a little more oomph in his heart.
Yeah,
to
it's going to be. This
belt.
is a fight, and he's undefeated, but this is a fight that he will feel he cannot lose.
Yeah.
Like, not like he doesn't have the ability to lose. Like, his life ends if he loses this fight. I think that's going to be his mentality. Like, this is that fight that he could be 0-28 and he would find a way to win this fight. It doesn't matter if he's 28, 0-28, whatever. I think this is a fight that mentally and emotionally for him, he can't lose. But we've seen people lose those type of fights before. So it definitely happens. But Khabib is a different animal. And I'm with you. I think he's going to win. As far as this other fight that I did mention, Jared Cannonier and Robert Whittaker, I'm not sure. So who's the middleweight guy? Is that Kamaru? Because
Don't ask me.
or is that Israel?
It should be Israel. No?
Yeah, it's Israel. Kamaru is welterweight. Israel is middleweight. So he's already beaten.
Yeah, and then the white guy is the heavyweight.
Yeah,
No,
Jan
right?
Blachowicz. No, well, he's light heavyweight, but yeah, and then Stipe is heavyweight. But Israel Adesanya has already beaten pretty much everybody in this thing except for Jared Cannonier. And after he beat up Paulo Costa, he said, I want to fight Jared Cannonier next because he's the only one that I haven't beaten yet. But of course, he has to get past Robert Whittaker, and that's going to be tough. Robert Whittaker had the belt before Israel Adesanya. He's the guy that, if it's not Izzy, it's him. Jared Cannonier is just this up and coming bruiser of a guy, but if Israel Adesanya thinks he can do it, then maybe the Killer Gorilla can do it, man. He's just, it's funny because he's not that guy that's been undefeated his whole life, doing everything, always winning. He wins a few, gets up pretty high, and then loses one. And wins a few, gets up, and then loses. So eventually he needs to break through. I think he has 4 losses, which is pretty high for a potential title fight guy. Now we're just getting these undefeateds, 1 loss, 2 loss guys. So to have 4 losses for Jared Cannonier is pretty tough, but hopefully he can beat him. I want to see new people fighting new people. Not that I love Robert Whittaker. If he wins, I'll be happy. I'm pulling for him, but Adesanya wants a new fight. I want to give him a new fight. Maybe Cannonier can take him out.
That'd be great. And I don't know if I'm ready for Adesanya to get beat yet, but it's going to be a hell of a show whenever he does get beat. And I don't.
We'll see how
I don't know
he is in defeat because he's never had to be. And there's a fine line between cockiness for me. I know that sometimes I hate the cocky guy like Jorge Masvidal, and sometimes I love the cocky guy like Israel Adesanya, even though they're the exact same cockiness. But you've earned cockiness when you're undefeated, when you're the champ, when you're doing everything right. I'm fine with it. I'm good with it. I'm fine with him talking crap. I'm fine with him dancing. I'm fine with him doing all that. I want to see what happens if he loses, though, because I don't know. He sounds like somebody that might be a blamer. He might blame something stupid. And I hope he's not that way, but he might.
I don't even know if there's anybody that would even be able to maybe John
Whittaker
Jones
could beat him.
Go on a huge diet.
Whittaker could beat him. He lost to him earlier, but Whittaker has the tools to beat him. And that's why Whittaker really wants to beat Cannonier and come back and fight him again. And I think that's partially why Adesanya's like, no, I don't want to fight Whittaker. I've already beaten Whittaker. I'm done with Whittaker. But I think part of that is him going, this dude might be able might be able to take me. So, but I don't know. Either one could be. It's a fight, man. That's the great things about fights is one punch, even from a guy that's not a knockout guy, one punch can send you home, send you packing, and you'll wake up the next day wondering what happened. So,
will we ever get to the day and age where we just have huge fights every single weekend?
Well, we do. It just depends on what your definition of huge is. We've gotten to the point to where there's so many good fights, and it sucks because they don't really know how to market them. They only know how to market the titles because there's a belt in the picture. Obviously, this guy is good. But if Whitaker versus Cannonier was the main event, it would still be a really good fight, but nobody would watch it because there's no title, there's no storyline, there's no, this guy threw a cart at a bus. Like, there's none of that stuff. So until the fights themselves can market themselves, that's why boxing is so far down now, because marketing is not a thing anymore. You don't have Don King marketing everybody up. So that's just the way fights are going, I think. But we do have big fights pretty much every week.
Yeah, we're getting it like at least once a month now. It seems like every time I turn around, we do have a championship fight going on now. So I should just be quiet and enjoy it.
Well, in boxing, you have a championship fight every night. I think they have like 38 belts to go around. So
in each weight class,
I think, what do they have? 6 belts in every weight class, I think. It's just so nuts.
Ridiculous like that.
So, yeah. All right. So what else do we got to shout out? We're up to shout outs and closeouts here. So what do we got?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me find it. Wanted to shout out old boy from the Niners. Daniel, this is going to be bad. The
blocker?
Yeah, Daniel Brunskill.
Sure.
He's probably the left tackle, I'm guessing. One of the tackles for the Niners. Apparently, his debut he's a guard. Debut at guard last week, 16. Aaron Donald just gave him the business. Well, this week, this dude gave him the business, and Aaron Donald literally didn't do shit. He had 2 total tackles the whole game, didn't have a sack, didn't have a quarterback pressure, didn't do nothing. Nothing at all.
Was he also triple teamed the whole time? I mean, I didn't watch the game. I have no clue, but.
Me neither. Probably. But still, even when he is triple teamed, he still gets through.
He tends to get to people.
Yeah, he's still a dog. He still has 7-8 tackles at least in the game. But no, he had 2 total tackles the whole game. 1 solo. Dude just ate him up. I'd shout him out. That's amazing. And I like seeing that, especially when somebody's so consistent like Aaron Donald. I almost called him Anthony Davis. Somebody's so consistent. You kind of get used to him just racking up 15, 20 sacks a year type stupid numbers. And to keep the guy to not even quarterback pressure is absolutely insane.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we're going to close out on that guy because that guy is a stud. And we talk about being a stud. We talk about all these guys and a lot of times it's the emotional, hey, you were a stud, but this dude got his ass kicked last year by Aaron Donald. I think it was like 4 sacks in week 16, something like that. And so now when he's his primary blocker, again, I don't know how double teams and all that worked. I'm sure he got doubled. If Aaron Donald wasn't getting doubled, that's a coaching mistake. But that guy was still his matchup one-on-one, and he rose to the challenge. He knew what was up. He watched game film. He figured it out, and he took care of it. So those are the kind of studs we're talking about. We don't do stud of the week or anything like that anymore, but those are the guys we keep a watch out for. So what'd you say his name was? Daniel
Brunskill. Yeah.
Yeah. So be like Daniel Brunskill. That's what we're going to say. If that's not your name, go ahead and call in because we know you're listening and let us know and we'll pronounce it better next week. But be like him. And as always, be a stud, not a scrub.